Fiscal policies are government actions influencing an economy through the use of taxation and spending. Fiscal policies are used to maintain steady prices, employment level, and a growing economy. They are also used to stimulate a sluggish economy or slow down a speedy economy on its way to inflation. Aggregate demand is directly affected by the fiscal policy. It is a combination of consumption, investment, government spending, and net exports. It also measures demand for an economy's gross domestic product. In December 2015, President Obama signed a massive year-end tax cut and spending package, including a $1.1 trillion funding bill, $680 billion worth of tax breaks, and dozens of other substantial policy initiatives. This would be an example of expansionary fiscal policy, where there's an increase in government spending and decrease in taxes. With decrease in taxes, fewer dollars are going to local or federal tax authorities, so consumers have more money to spend. Tax cuts increase aggregate demand, causing more money in consumer pockets. This will shift the AD curve to the right, as you see in the graph. As I mentioned previously, expansionary fiscal policy is a decrease in taxes and increase in government spending. With the $1.1 trillion funding bill President Obama has agreed to, the question arises of where will this money come from? The answer is the money will be obtained from borrowing. When borrowing occurs, interest rates increase. The interest rate effect is the impact from the increased amount of borrowing experienced by the economy. The effect Obama's policy has on GDP is definitely a ripple effect. We assume the U.S. originally had an MPC of 0.93. Because the MPC is calculated from change in consumption and change in income, the spending multiplier increases when aggregate demand increases, which we saw as a result from expansionary fiscal policy. An increase in government spending by a given amount would increase GDP by that same amount multiplied by the spending multiplier. The higher the spending multiplier, the larger the GDP. On another note, as a result of expansionary fiscal policy, the crowding out effect occurs. Government spending crowds out private spending. This is an offset in aggregate demand that raises interest rates and expands the real GDP. The conclusion of President Obama's massive year-end tax cut and spending package is that GDP would increase overall.